Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Fat Boy Diaries. I'm Gran, the resident fat boy, and thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this, or even like it and leave a comment. I would appreciate any comments, literally. Any comments. Because I also wanted to ask in the last segment for people to leave me a few movie recommendations so I can leave a little movie review, a tidbit. Sorry, this is actually another episode of Real Talk, which I wanted to prove that it wasn't just a depressing thing where I share sad bullying stories. For instance, this is the episode, I'm telling you guys, where I'm totally sharing the happiest moment in my life. And that moment, if you've guessed correctly, is the moment I discovered acting in my life. So let's rewind the clock by a good decade. Because when I was 12, I had a paper out, as I said in the last video, and that paper out was a nightmare. Children, please don't do paper outs if you live in a neighborhood where blizzards can occur, because apparently they still want children to deliver papers when there's a blizzard and their parents don't help them. My parents did not help me, so I had to put on 3 layers of coats, a ski mask, and a giant backpack with literally gloves that I could hardly feel papers and deliver to people's houses. And then what's funny is the moment I saw something that made me think I should be an actor was the moment I also decided to quit that job. So really, it was fate. It was inevitable that I would find Night Scare's haunted house. It is one of the places I found the most compassionate people I've ever met. It's also where I was able to explore and figure out what I was as an actor. What's funny is, when I started, I will admit, I was terrible. I was horrible, just bad, worse than I am now. And I think I'm a good improvement from then, but I also think that acting is something you have to develop your entire life. You're never always perfect. The moment I was thinking about truly giving in and becoming a great actor happened completely by mistake. Because that day, 10 years ago, when I got a sheet atop of my paper route bundle that said, "Oh, this month we have a competition. You can win free tickets to Night Scare's haunted house. What if I could call them and act in the house instead?" What's funny is, literally the person I went to audition for is one of my closest friends to this date. We met that day, and she was literally doing a Les Mis, "There is a castle on a cloud. I like to go there in my sleep." For those of you who don't know, that's the little girl in Les Mis, and my friend was literally sweeping up like that, coming out of a doorway. I'm a Broadway person, that's literally what happens in the stage adaptation. Literally, I didn't really audition, she just handed me paper and said, "Fill this out, come back in, you'll be in." I was put as a werewolf, which is where all the newbies go, because literally all I have to do is bark and they're good with that. So I was pretty terrible, I sucked, I will admit that. Only thing was, there was one person on a haunted house. His name was Woody. Without him, I would never have decided to become an actor. And the reason why I say this is because I was so nervous, but there was something about the way he kept looking at me that made me think that he doesn't think I'm giving enough. And that if I can just give in to the point that this guy was impressed by me, then I actually have a chance as an actor. The moment I truly gave in and found that enjoyment happened completely by mistake. For those of you who never acted in a haunted house, there are different rooms and different sets and different ways to act. Usually I was always in the werewolf den, but one day my dad was supposed to drive me there, and he drove me really late after makeup call, which is when they do all the prosthetics, which I used to be a werewolf and wore prosthetic makeup, which I'm allergic to latex, so that was fun. But I arrived late, and so I was put in the very first room. It was a room dedicated to the movie 30 Days a Night, which is also a book, so if you read it, that's what I'm talking about. We had security, and security came in with every group, and Woody was one of those security persons, and I was like, I really need to impress him because he's someone who knows what he's doing and knows what it takes to truly be in the character and scare people. To describe the change in my life from that one night, I don't know how best to explain it except using a drug analogy, which I don't do drugs, so that's why if I ever had to act in a role, this is literally the moment I would choose, because there's complete freedom in acting. And I was in character, I was playing, if you haven't seen the movie, there's a guy who comes to town right before all the vampires show up. It's a vampire movie, sorry, spoiler. And he warns them that 30 Days a Night, they're coming for them. 2 groups came in, and the second group was Woody's. And I was so scared that I let that fear take over my body. And I remember being like a little cat that was like, "Meow." Like that's my attempt at scaring someone. I was like, "Arr." And then I saw the disappointment on his face, and I was like, this guy saw so much in me, and I'm disappointing him. So I have to let go and give in everything. And I just remember like my head freeing up, all the like just vacating my body to make room for this character. And I was like screaming at the top of my lungs because I was like inviting people to come in to like witness the horror in our house, and like telling them about the creatures that were coming for them and going to eat them, and some things too dirty for a 12-year-old to say, but that didn't stop me from saying them, and some things that I should have done research before saying because I didn't know what I was saying, and they were like, it's PG hour, you might want to tone it back a little bit, because we had that in our house. We had an hour for PG fun, like PG horror, where it's like, blah, blah, blah. And then we had like 4.5 hours of full-on committed scaring. Just the feel of the room. To tell you how much I changed after my 4th day, it was my 4th day when this happened. I ended up winning Best New Actor that year. Having that and discovering acting, it was something I needed. It was a huge step for me because, like I said in the last video, I felt like a robot at that time, which means I didn't feel like I mattered to anyone. I didn't feel like anything I did helped anybody. I mean, granted, you're scaring people when you're at a haunted house, but you're scaring people and they're finding enjoyment from that. Because usually you're scared until you leave the house, but you're like, wow, that was really scary. That really made me realize how lucky I am to be alive. And that's what I always looked at the act of a haunted house was. If my regular life was like this, but I could help other people find emotion and meaning in their lives when I'm acting, and my performance could instill that in other people, then I could feel happiness and be okay with my life. And I still feel that way today. So to wrap up this video, I just want to say thank you, Woody. Thank you, Nightscare Productions. Thank you to the people in that house who pushed me to be more than what I was and helped me see that my life was not the boundary that I felt it was, and that I was capable of becoming more if I just saw a light and a power within myself. And I thank everyone from that house for doing that for me. And that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. If you liked my video, you should subscribe. If you didn't, you should subscribe anyways, because it's free. Why the hell not? You know, you can see me acting like an idiot, you know. Why wouldn't that be fun? I mean, it can only go uphill from here, am I right? Thanks for watching.